2. And welcome back to Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the Late Night Show for the Late Night Podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. I don't know how he saw this, but I'm sitting over here starting this show. If you're watching the video, you saw me doing a little dance with my hands, something I've never done over the course of a combined 400 episodes of between the 3 podcasts I've done. I have. But I was doing a little dance with the hands, and the pet bed is tucked off in the corner by the patio at a point where they would have to crane their necks in order to see what I'm doing at the desk. Get your minds out of the gutter. And this young dog, because the cat is busy outside, she's hanging out on the patio, taking a little nap in the 67-degree weather. This young dog decided he heard my hands moving and said, I gotta go see what Dad's up to. Welcome back in episode 67. Is that where we landed? Excuse me, 56. 56. I was planning next week's episode because that's when Everybody's Live with John Mulaney premieres, which I thought it was this week. And I finished working out on Thursday. Finish at the gym, finish cycling at home, take a shower, have breakfast. I sit down to watch Everybody's Live with John Mulaney. And it's not on Netflix. I'm scrolling through going, what's going on? And then I see it says March 12th. And I went, dang. So that's what we're dealing with. Hold on. I'm sorry. I started typing something in YouTube so I could go look at it. So that's what we're dealing with. I should turn off that. That's pretty much it. What else is going on? What's happening this week in late night? I'm not okay. So I just spent like the last 10 seconds looking for the trailer for Everybody's Live in LA. It wasn't. It's not on YouTube. It's not on YouTube under Netflix as a joke. Let me handle Netflix as a joke. Let me be in charge of that, and I'll promise you, they can post things all the time. It'll be great. Okay, let's start with After Midnight. After Midnight had a busy week, having on wonderful people like Thomas Lennon, like Mary Elizabeth Ellis, like friend of the show, Bobby Moynihan, friend of the show, because I have interviewed him before. Additionally, there was also Ricky Lindholm, Skylar Astin, and what's his face? Jason's something or other. Oh, God. Now, is it James Marsden? That's the voice actor. Who's the other one? Who's the one that's in Matlock? Yes, I love Matlock. It's a wonderful show. Jason Ritter. Then the busy Debras showed up. Sandy Honig, Mitra Jouhari, and Alyssa Stonoha. They're wonderful, funny people. Actually, also, I think Sandy writes on After Midnight. And then, quite frankly, an episode I watched mostly because I saw who was on it. Was Sarah Shahi. Shahi was on. She's from Paradise, and quite frankly, it was Paradise watching her. She was on with Taylor Ortega and Dustin Nickerson. No, it's all week. My one of my favorite K-pop artists, Lisa, appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, where she talked about The White Lotus. I'm not a fan of that show, so I did not care for most of the interview. I just wanted to see Lisa do a thing. Guillermo was also at the Oscars, and they did his whole press thing, which I love. Ben Stiller popped up on the show as well, along with Regina Hall, Danny McBride, Mike Epps, Sarah Bach, Jennifer Coolidge, and Walton Goggins. Wonderhouse also played. Oh, I didn't see that. Interesting. Sarah Bach is the young lady from this season of Severance. She plays one of the workers on that show. One of the supervisors on that show. It's crazy. It's just a child. I'm a couple episodes behind, so I can't speak to. As of I need to watch episode 5, and as of today, I believe episode 8 is out. So I can't speak to what she's doing. Seth Meyers had on people like Kate Hudson, who this is going to be very Susio. She looks fantastic. I watched all of Running Point. Running Point was a fan. I'll talk about that on the Constitutionals. John Turturro was on. I intentionally did not watch his interview because I don't want to be spoiled. Fred Armisen popped up as well. Naomi Ackie, Susan Morrison. If you don't know who Susan Morrison is, she is the writer of the Lauren Michaels book. A book that I bought day of in audiobook form because I had an extra Audible credit. What are the books? There's one more book that I bought within like a month of it releasing, and it was oh Lord, what is her name? This is so embarrassing because I just had to have this book because I saw it came out and I went, oh my gosh, well, I can get this book. And it was again an audiobook, but it's not here or there. What was this book? Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. What is her name? I gotta tell you, I forgot her name. I forgot the woman's name, and I forgot. And this is also something that I could probably do for the Constitutionals, but who cares? I have to pad out this show. There's not a lot to talk about in late night, and all I want to do is make sure. Why don't I just go to my Audible? Leanne Moriarty. I just got her latest book. Oh, and I finished it. I knew. That's why I went to the red section, you idiot. Leanne Moriarty. She's great. I enjoy her writing. I missed Seth was off last week. I missed a show. Continuing on, The Daily Show. Jon Stewart was back, obviously. Michael Costa held it down this week. Another solid week for this show is in the books. Antoni Porowski popped up along with Julian Baker and Torres and Mae Martin and Matthew Disman. Then there's The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Sterling K. Brown held it down with Jake Tapper. And Paris Paloma performed as well, and Pete Buttigieg. I like it when he has on political figures. And also Tony Hawk was on, I believe, the same day Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 combined remake was announced, even though we knew it was coming. I like it, but again, I like it when Colbert has on political figures because depending on their schedule, they get to spend an entire episode talking about what's going on in this world. And he's one of actually, I would probably say Colbert is the only late night host who can have a good, concise conversation with a political figure. That's not to say that others can't. I'm sure, Kimmel's good at it too. Seth is good at it, but in ways that Colbert is good at it in ways that he's a man with glasses. I believe a man with glasses more than a man with not glasses. This is why me smart. Me don't need glass. And then finally for The Tonight Show, Giada De Laurentiis popped up, and boy, oh boy, was I paying attention. I think there's something wrong with me. Along with Michael Strahan and Amanda Seyfried. Tate McRae performed. Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith popped up a couple of days before he and LeBron James is gonna timetable this. Well, even though this comes out the weeks that the episodes reach, even though this comes out the end of the week, or whatever, who cares? He and LeBron James got into it, and LeBron James was like, "Don't talk about my son." And then Stephen A. Smith was on his show talking about like he came to me as a parent, told me to not talk about his son. Like, yeah, dude, of course he did. He yelled at you. There's a video I saw. He yelled at you at the end of a game as you were sitting courtside. This giant behemoth of a man, and then Stephen A. Smith has a little oversized suit, like. And Julia Michaels and Maren Morris also performed. It's these musical performances where you see people like Peso Paloma and Tate McRae. Because I listen to a lot of music, and it's so wonderful to see that these have not become bastions of the past. But I feel like that's where we're trending towards, is that a network wouldn't mind if a late night show was, say, 39 minutes or 38 minutes instead of 42, so they could fit in more commercials. But when you have a Tate McRae, someone who's popping right now, you can take a 3-minute clip of her performance and put it on YouTube and it be popular and good, whatever. I'm not saying that because I like Tate McRae too. Oh my God. Anyway, as I said before, Everybody's in LA is premiering. Excuse me. Is it called Everybody's Live? Excuse me. Everybody's Live. I'm thinking about the last show. Everybody's Live with John Mulaney. Premieres next week. There is a new trailer out. I've muted it. I have to close something because it is a work email address. It's a work email address, and you're not gonna get me in trouble. Is this what I'm doing? There we go. The trailer is out on Netflix proper, and it promises to be the exact show that everybody, this is the trailer I saw, that Everybody's Live in LA was, what was that, like 6 or 7 months ago during the summer? I really enjoyed Everybody's in LA, and I hope that this show is what Netflix wants it to be, what Netflix needs it to be, or wants it to be, I guess, is a proper one, and what John Mulaney wants it to be. Because I think it's important that we have a late night show on a streamer. We just watched the entire trailer. Additionally, there's also going to be live ad breaks. This comes from Late Nighter, written by Jed Rosenweig. Excuse me. They mentioned that John Mulaney's new Netflix series adds live ad breaks. The show is going to be live on Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. the rest of the country. Western, PT, whatever. I have to set up interviews from PT times. So yeah, I know. 3 hours. Last spring. That's when Everybody's in LA was. Everybody's in LA. If you remember that show, you can go watch it on Netflix. I don't know why you would want to. No, you could. You really could. I was thinking about this, and then I'll get on with the story. I was thinking about this after the Oscars were held on Sunday. I watched them live, and then I went to sleep mad because movies like Anora and The Brutalist were celebrated. There's no people of color in those. But the next morning, I woke up and I worked out, and I came back home, and I cleared the Oscars from my YouTube TV's DVR, but on Hulu and on Disney Plus, you can just rewatch the show. It's like I just thought, who would do that? And then yesterday I was on Paramount Plus. No, wait, I was on Netflix. Excuse me, I was on Netflix, and it suggested to me the SAG Awards, an award show I watched most of live. Which it's just so interesting to me that are there people, I'm sure there's people out there that are like, I missed the Oscars on Sunday. Let me just put on the 3-hour show today, Wednesday, or today, Thursday. Oh, I missed the SAG Awards. It's still on Netflix. That was 2 weeks ago. Let's watch. Anyway, you can watch Everybody's in LA right now on Netflix. It is... I think it's evergreen, more or less. But there's something so fun about it being live and unpredictable. And obviously, if you've never seen it, if you haven't even seen a clip, then you know nothing about it. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's a very pivotal moment for me in late night. While Everybody's in LA, which was streamed live from start to finish without commercial interruption, live episodes of Mulaney's new show will include commercial breaks for all Netflix subscribers. And it doesn't matter if you subscribe to the ad-free version or not. So I pay the most I pay the $25 one now. I'm still going to get ads because of that. And they do the same thing with the WWE Live is what I've read, is that they have ad breaks too. But following each episode's live stream, Late Nighter continues, ad breaks will be removed for ad-free subscribers watching the show on demand. It's consistent with what Netflix has done for live football, wrestling, and for the Screen Actors Guild Awards. Everybody's live. We'll stream live next Wednesday. And apparently the show is said to have been picked up for 2 12-episode seasons. Netflix typically does this. I don't. Let me look. I have a computer in front of me. I don't know why I would not use the computer. So as I've mentioned before, they've had talk shows. I'm going to start with Joel McHale's first. I also don't know how to spell Joel McHale, but the Joel McHale show with Joel McHale lasted for 2 seasons, and that was just a take on what he was doing for Talk Soup or Soup, whatever. And then Michelle Wolf had The Break, and that lasted for 10 episodes. And then Hassan had his show, Patriot Act, and that lasted for what they dubbed volumes, which were around, the last one was a number of episodes. I'd say about 6 or so. Oh, okay. The last one was 8. And it looks like that it was from volume 1 to volume 6. It was 7, 6, 6, 6, 7 and 8 episodes. It's Netflix seems to have, they lasted so long with Patriot Act, I feel, because they broke it up in volumes, which I guess is easier for, pay structure. They could pay less. But also the show could take a hiatus and then retool and then come back, as opposed to the approach they took for Talk Soup, where that show, or Talk Soup, what was it? The Joel McHale show with Joel McHale. That show just seemed like they had no, and not saying like the production of it, but they had no idea what they were doing with a talk show. In the same way that Michelle Wolf's show, The Break, they were just kind of like, oh, I guess we will do it for this many episodes and this will be it. But for Patriot Act, they seem to have an approach that makes sense, treating it like it's a real late night show. Like, let's go back to the first time they streamed episode sports. The boxing wasn't good, but now that just seemed like a litmus test for what was to become of the WWE when they bought that over. So I'm scrolling back to the first episode. They did 2 episodes October 28th, 2018, and then they seemed to have weekly episodes until the break in December 2018. And they came back February 10th, 2019, and then stopped mid-March 2019, and then came back May. So they treated it was different. Where it on their contract, I'm sure it was, we're only going to do 40 episodes or whatever. We're going to do 30 initial episodes. But at least it seemed like it was something that was ongoing. And hopefully this is what they can do with Everybody's Live, because if Mulaney's not, shooting a show or shooting a movie or touring, then this is a great way for this show to have like continued success. You do 2 seasons of 8 or 10 episodes, 16 or 20 episodes total. That leads into the summer. You do these episodes now from March until May. Pause. Take the summer off. Come back in September like the rest of the hosts do. And then you've got yourself a late night show. But you just have to continue doing it. You can't just do 10 episodes and then quit. If After Midnight lasted for the 6 months or 6 or 8, was it a year? Was it a year before it kind of retooled where they brought out her? I have to go back at these stupid episodes of this podcast, but was it a year before they kind of retooled it where Taylor Tomlinson is now doing a monologue up top? And there's different elements of the show that have been tightened up. If you imagine if, NBC did the same thing Netflix does to its shows, but they did it to Seth Meyers before he was able before he and his team were like, let me sit down at the desk. So you have to give these things time. Late night shows take time. And what's great about late night shows is that they are cheap. They're cheap as heck. You can do what I feel is a whole year. You can do 6 months to a year and until a show has its legs. Because that's what happens. Because you're producing a show every single week. Live or not, you're producing a show every single week or every single day. And you're doing more than any show besides news shows or morning shows. You're doing more than any shows that are also written. Like, look at I've been watching Gotham, the Fox show about Detective Jim Gordon and a very young Bruce Wayne. It's a fantastic show. But if I didn't finish in season 1, I was like, oh, it's fine. There's Edward Enigma. He works at GCPD. Oh, there's the Penguin. Oh, he's kind of a dork. If I gave up on that show, and if they gave up on that show, then we wouldn't have season 2, which is fantastic, and season 3, which is even better. We're getting Azrael or a version of Azrael and Tigress and all this. But anyway, these talk shows, these late night shows have to have a chance to expand and be better. Look at like The Break with Michelle Wolf could still be going today, because that was a great show. She had all the things that she needed for that show to succeed. It's just Netflix didn't give it a chance, the same chances that Hassan got. If Hassan and Chelsea, because Chelsea's late night show on Netflix, I'll say it was a chat show, lasted very long too. But if Hassan and Chelsea, if Michelle and Joel and Mulaney are given the same exact chances as Hassan and Chelsea, then those shows would still be on. In fact, I think all those shows could still be on. Even Chelsea's. Joshi's. But here we are. All right, next week we'll talk about Everybody's Live. I can't wait. Can't wait to cover it. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com where I'm talking to famous people. Sometimes I just put out a new interview. You should check it out. Started the song way too soon. If you wanted to see a video version of the show, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy where you can see a video version of those interviews. Now I can start it. And you can see a video version of the other podcasts, LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs Podcast, and the Constitutionals, the Entertainment Business News Podcast. There as well. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook at C Plus Comedy. Me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you later. Bye.